Hey everyone, welcome to Muse. We're so excited to have you on board. In this video, you'll learn everything you need to get started with Muse as a Mac user. Feel free to skip through the different chapters and only watch the relevant topics that you need help with. You can also download our manual if you prefer reading the instructions, and if by the end of the video you still have questions or need help resolving an issue, please reach out to us via email or Discord, where our tech support team will help you as soon as possible. To download Muse, head over to our website, musesessions.co. Click Free Download, and make sure you're downloading the correct version of Muse for your computer. If you have an Intel processor, click here, and if you have an M1, M2, or M3 chip, be sure to click on this link instead. To check which processor you have, you can go to the top left Apple icon and click About this Mac. Once Muse is downloaded, open the DMG, click on the PKG file, follow the prompts, and install. Great! You now have Muse on your computer. Go ahead and right-click Muse. Go to Options and click Keep in Dock so you have it handy for every session. The final step is to restart your computer so audio drivers are fully installed. Once your computer turns back on, congratulations! You're now ready to start using Muse. As a first-time user, once you open the app, you will be prompted to give Muse permission to access things such as your microphone, camera, and screen control. Click through these pop-ups step by step as prompted to enable. To enable or disable these permissions at any time, you can also go to System Preferences, Security and Privacy, and select which permissions you would like to change. For some of them, you may have to click on the lock and type in your password to make changes. Once you open the Muse app, you have the option to either host or join a session. To join a session, you need a link from the session host and a password if they have one. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll host our own session. First, you'll see an overview settings page where you can change your audio, video, or other settings. For audio inputs, select the microphone and instruments you would like to use for this session. This can be a Talkback microphone, your computer's built-in microphone, or an instrument connected to an audio interface, etc. You can select multiple audio inputs, choose mono and stereo channels from your device, and you can also change the audio quality. To dive deeper into advanced audio settings, skip to the Audio Settings section of this tutorial. Next, select the correct speakers and camera. Play Test Sound will produce a noise so you can verify that your audio is working and the correct speakers are selected. If you want to share screen or MIDI during your session, you can also do that below. To share audio straight from your DAW to your collaborators, add the Muse plugin to the master track of your DAW and check Muse Plugin Audio under Share DAW Audio. To share audio straight from your computer during your session, such as Spotify playback, YouTube, or computer files, check Computer Audio. Make sure Loopback is enabled and switch your computer's sound output to Muse Audio Share. You can click this button to have Muse change your output for you, or you can do it manually in your computer settings. On the left menu, you have more settings options. For example, in the Session tab, you can change the session name or add a password. Once you're happy with your settings, click the Start Session button to begin. You can always return to the settings page and change any of these settings during your session by clicking the settings button at the top right. When you're in the session, you can invite collaborators by sharing the session link, or you can type in their username. You can open this pop-up at any time by clicking the Collaborators button. Once someone follows the session link, they can join from the Muse app, or they have the option to join as a guest from the browser. Guests will have limited features, but this is great to have someone quickly join a listening session. Once they join, a window will pop up asking you to let them in. Now that everyone is in the session, you can capture an artist's vocal performance, drag and drop to the chat box to share files, record remote MIDI performances, share your screen, or tweak a session together on one DAW through screen control. You can also collapse and pin the Muse window to the top so you never lose track of the session even when working in your DAW. Monitor your collaborators' signals in the sidebar by muting, soloing, or adjusting the volume fader. And finally, expand your network in the Muse Community tab by discovering new collaborators. Congratulations! You're now ready to get to work on Muse. To learn more about how to use specific features on Muse, skip to the corresponding section titles in the rest of the video. To share audio from your DAW to your collaborators on Muse, add the Muse plugin to the master track of your DAW and check that the plugin status is good. Once you do this, Muse should automatically check Muse plugin audio under Share DAW audio in your Muse audio settings. If not, you can select it manually. Remember, you do not need to change the output of your DAW when sharing audio to Muse. Once your collaborators can hear audio from your DAW, they can adjust the volume of what they are hearing next to the Muse DAW bridge. To share audio straight from your computer to your collaborators on Muse during your session, such as sharing your Spotify or YouTube playback, make sure that Computer Audio, Muse Audio Share, is checked in your audio settings. Loopback should be enabled if you want to hear the audio yourself as well. Then, change your computer's audio output to Muse Audio Share in your computer's settings. Clicking Change It For Me in the banner can do this for you automatically. Make sure Muse Audio Share volume is turned up all the way so everyone can hear your audio clearly. Again, once your collaborator can hear audio from your computer, they can adjust the volume of what they're hearing in the slider next to Computer Audio Share in Muse. Please note that when sharing high-quality audio in a Muse session without headphones, your signal can be doubled, once through the actual audio device you're sharing, and again when the audio passes from your speakers through the microphone. This is because echo cancellation is disabled with high-quality audio. To prevent this, you can wear headphones, mute your microphone, or enable push-to-talk on your microphone. Now let's talk about recording. Let's say you're an audio engineer trying to record an artist over Muse. The ideal way to do this is to control the artist's screen and record them in their own DAW. But if they don't have the necessary plugins and you want to record them into your DAW, there are two ways to do this depending on which DAW you use. If you use Ableton, Logic Pro, or a DAW that allows you to select separate inputs and outputs, you can use the Muse recording device as an input. Make sure that simple recording is enabled in the settings under the Recording tab. Arm the user whose audio you would like to record by pressing R under their name and next to their desired input channel. For example, if they're using channel 2 from a Scarlett Focusrite, that is the channel you should arm. Head over to your DAW and set Muse Recording as your audio input. You do not need to change the output or insert the Muse Recording Plugin. Now, when you arm a track, you should see a signal coming through Muse. If you don't see your signal or there are any issues, try restarting your DAW and trying again. Now that you have a signal coming through, hit record on your DAW as you normally would to capture the performance of your artist. Due to various network conditions, you may experience latency, but sit tight. We are working hard to reduce latency in the future versions of Muse. If you're a Pro Tools, Studio One, or Cubase user and can't change your DAW's audio input to be different from the output, this section of the tutorial is for you. First, make sure that simple recording is enabled in your Muse settings under the Recording tab. In Muse, arm the user whose audio you would like to record by pressing R under their name and next to their desired input channel. For example, if they're using channel 2 from a Scarlett Focusrite, that is the channel you should arm. Head over to your DAW and create an aux track in your project and assign an audio input to the aux track. Remember, this audio input needs to have an audio signal present or the audio will not be recorded. Next, add the Muse Recording Plugin to the aux track. This is the only instance of the Muse Recording Plugin you will need for your entire session. Check that the plugin says Receiving Audio, then assign the output of the aux track to a bus. Next, create an audio track that you want to record on and set the input of the audio track to the same bus. Arm the audio track and you are now ready to record as you normally would in your DAW. Please note that network conditions can affect the recording. There will be some delay and network blips will also be recorded. Due to various network conditions, you may experience latency, but don't worry, we're working hard to reduce latency in the future versions of Muse. With either way of recording, Muse will automatically save your recording to a file on your computer. The default folder that Muse creates for you is in Documents, Muse, Audio Recordings. To change this, you can go to the Recording tab under Settings. You can either enable or disable this function altogether, or you can also change the location of where your files are saved. You can also have Muse save a local copy of your recording if someone is recording you by toggling on this button in your settings. To To send MIDI during your session, select the MIDI device you want to share as an input in Muse's MIDI settings. In this case, I'll select my Yamaha digital piano that is connected to my computer. Note that some MIDI devices may have multiple inputs. If the first input doesn't work, try the other inputs. To receive MIDI into your DAW, make sure Muse MIDI output is enabled in the MIDI settings of your DAW, whether that's Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, or FL Studio. Now, when you arm a MIDI track in your DAW, you should be able to receive an audio signal when your collaborator triggers their MIDI instrument. Hit record on your DAW like normal to capture the performance. If you want to share your screen during a session, simply click Share Screen and select which screen you'd like to share. Check Share Computer Audio if you want others to hear your computer playback. This is the same as Share Computer Audio in your audio settings, and Muse will automatically switch your computer audio to Muse Audio Share. Check Invert Mouse Wheel during screen control to change the scroll direction of the person controlling the screen. Now, let's talk about screen control. If you give someone else screen control while you are sharing your screen, they are able to control your mouse and essentially operate your computer remotely. This can be really powerful if you're an artist working with a mix engineer who wants to make some tweaks on your session without you bouncing all the stems to a different DAW. It could also be useful if a producer wants to make changes to your production but doesn't have all the plugins and instruments to work on their own computer. Your recording engineer can even run a remote recording session on their computer through your DAW to remove any latency issues. In order to gain screen control of someone else's shared screen, click on the Request Screen Control button in the top toolbar. A window should pop up for the person sharing their screen who can accept or deny the request. Once accepted, you will have full control over someone else's screen. The screen sharer can stop granting control at any point by clicking the Stop Screen Control button in the bar at the top of their screen. Please note that for now, you will need to share your monitor's entire screen for others to control it. Plugin windows will also only be visible when sharing the entire screen. If at any point you would like to create a screen recording of the session, click on Record Screen at the bottom of the main view. Select which screen you want to record and start recording. Once you're done recording, press Stop Recording to stop. All audio shared within Muse will be recorded, including all microphones, audio devices, computer audio, and Muse plugin audio. The screen recording file will automatically be saved in your computer at Documents, Muse, Screen Recordings. To change the location of your saved file, go to Screen Recording, Settings, and change the file path under Save File To. If you want to send messages or share files during a session, you can do that easily through the chat box in the bottom right corner. Simply drag files to the chat box for anyone in the session to drag into their DAW. Some DAWs like Ableton let you drag files from the DAW directly into the chat box. Every session has a file storage limit. You can delete files at any time by hovering over the file and clicking the red X at the top right of the file. Unless you're in a permanent session, all files and the session itself will be deleted after 24 hours of inactivity. With Muse Pro, you have full control over the quality of audio that you want to share. Go to Settings, Audio, and explore the options in the Device Settings menu next to your selected input. The standard audio options are available for all Muse users. It's comparable to the compressed audio quality you'd find on Zoom and will be in sync with video. You can also share high-quality audio, but only have access to the first 2 channels of any device when using standard audio. You may also notice audio speeding up, slowing down, or lowering in quality if the network connection is unstable. Voice call under standard audio is the most basic option. It's good for talking on Muse and is the only option with built-in echo cancellation and noise reduction. High quality under standard audio is the better option for sharing music within standard audio. The professional audio options are only available to Muse Pro users and allow you to send stable audio, meaning the audio will not slow down, speed up, or lower in quality depending on network conditions. You can increase or decrease the buffer to improve audio stability or stream audio faster. But this may prevent your video and audio from being in perfect sync. There are multiple options for compressed audio. Like above, low-quality Pro audio is suitable for basic conversations over Muse. whereas going down the list will result in better options for music sharing. There are also 3 options for uncompressed pro audio. These deliver lossless, uncompressed audio designed for detailed audio work such as mixing, music production, or recording. At 16-bit depth, you can already expect high-quality audio. Going down the list further improves audio quality until it's as good as it gets. Please note that lossless audio uses a lot of bandwidth, so you may run into issues if you share too many lossless audio streams. With a professional audio quality selected, you can now share multiple mono or stereo channels. Click the Add Channels button to use multiple channels from the same audio device. To access more advanced settings, click on the Gear for Device settings. Here, you can adjust the buffer. A larger buffer will result in more delay but less audio dropouts. A smaller buffer will result in faster audio sharing but with more audio dropouts. Depending on your internet speed, you may have to increase the buffer when streaming lossless audio to prevent dropouts. For sample rate, the higher you go, the better the audio quality. You can increase the sample rate to your liking. For additional tips, check out the Muse Pro Guide, linked right below. Back in the audio settings, under Select Speakers, you can click on the Gear for Speaker settings, where you can change the sample rate and bit depth of your speakers. Moving over to the Video Settings tab, you can change the quality, frame rate, and aspect ratio of your video. If you notice your computer slowing down, try to decrease the quality and frame rate of your video feeds. Another tip is to limit the number of high-quality audio streams you're sharing. Now let's take a look at the Muse Mixer section and get acquainted with all the different controls. Each participant in a session will have their own set of controls at the top right-hand column, where you can change your own inputs. The first input is the microphone that you are using to speak into the session. In this instance, I'm using my MacBook Pro microphone, but you can also switch it to an interface if you're using a more professional microphone. Below, you have additional sources of audio that you could be sharing with the rest of the participants, such as your computer audio, Muse plugin audio, or your MIDI signal. The volume slider allows you to control how much audio you are sending over the session, and you can also mute yourself by pressing M. Muting yourself or changing your volume controls what other people are able to hear from you. You can monitor how much signal you're sending through on the volume meter next to the input. The T button allows you to enable the Talkback function, which will put you on mute unless you're triggering the Talkback key. This is useful during recording sessions to avoid an echo. The default Talkback key is the backquote or tilde, which is usually on the left of the 1 key. You can go into Settings, Audio, to change the Talkback key. Below your own set of controls, you can manage everyone else's inputs by either adjusting their volume, pressing M to mute, or S to solo, which lets you isolate a single or multiple audio streams to listen to. Do note that in changing someone else's settings, you are only changing your own perception of the audio signal. Just because you mute someone's signal does not mean it is muted for everyone else. If you want to quickly mute or unmute all participants in the call in one step, you can click the Mute All or Unmute All button above your camera. The R button arms the corresponding input and makes it recording ready. It lets Muse know which input source it should be listening for when recording. In this section, we'll run through the functions of the toolbar on the top right section of your Muse session. The first button allows you to collapse the main view so that the app doesn't take up your entire screen. You can still view the video screen as it is now merged with the sidebar. You can also click Collapse Sidebar to further minimize the Muse window by hiding the Muse sidebar. The pin icon makes the Muse window visible at all times. While working in a DAW, a combination of a collapse view and pinning Muse window to top will ensure you to never lose track of your Muse session with easy access to Muse mixer controls. The bell button lets you see a drop-down of notifications such as session invites, friend requests, or messages. The info button gives you quick access to session information and settings, and the gear button takes you straight to your overview settings. Inviting collaborators to your session is easy. Simply click the collaborators icon in the bottom of your screen and the invite window will pop up like it did at the beginning of the session. Again, you can either copy and paste the link or invite by username. You can also find the session link in Muse's session settings. With multiple users in a session, you can manage your collaborators by clicking on the 3 dots at the top right corner of a video screen and clicking Manage Collaborators. You can also invite guests to your sessions so they can listen to HQ audio without needing to download the app. During your session, you can also click on Collaborators, Open Community to browse through other musicians within the Muse community. You can search by genre, instrument, studio role, or username. Add them as a friend, send them a message, or invite them to your session directly in the Muse app. You can also edit your own profile on the Profile tab to change how you appear to other Muse users. When you're done with the session, click Leave Session to return to the Muse dashboard. Here you can see your recent session history. You can rejoin sessions within 24 hours of inactivity, after which the room and files will be deleted. You can also schedule future sessions ahead of time. You can copy the invitation link to send out to your collaborators before the session, and it will show up under upcoming sessions. This is the end of our tutorial. We hope it was helpful in getting you started on Muse. For further questions or issues, you can go to our in-app tutorials or reach out to us on Discord or the contact form on our website. Follow us on Instagram at musesessions.co or subscribe to our mailing list linked below to keep up with our latest updates and community news. And remember, we love to hear from you. Tag us in your stories or posts and send us a message. We're always open to feedback and love connecting with music lovers. For now, good luck with your session and welcome to the Muse community.